The story goes like this. A goatherd named Kaldi, watching his goats dance after eating strange red cherries from a wild shrub. He tries the cherries himself. He feels a jolt of energy, and somewhere in that forest, coffee is born. It's a wonderful story. It's also folklore, a tale that surfaces centuries after the fact, with no record from anyone who was there. The real story doesn't have a single dramatic moment. It has genetics, forests, and gaps in the record historians are still working to fill. That story starts here, in the highlands of southern Ethiopia. Coffea arabica is wild here, and only here. Genetic studies trace its deepest roots to these southern Ethiopian forests, a level of diversity found nowhere else on Earth. How early people first used the plant, no one can say with certainty. Written sources from this period are almost non-existent, and the archaeological trail is thin. What we have instead is biology. A wild population, isolated, diverse, ancient. At some point, likely the evidence suggests sometime around the 15th century, the plant crosses the Red Sea into Yemen. And here something changes. In Yemen, coffee stops being just a forest plant. It's cultivated deliberately on mountain terraces. Sufi communities embrace it. A drink to keep the body alert and the mind awake through nights of devotion. And at the port of Mocha, it becomes something else again. A commodity. Cultivated, processed, branded, exported. A wild forest berry has become an institution. By 1511, coffee has reached Mecca, and it has enemies. Religious authorities argue it intoxicates, that it draws crowds, that it destabilizes public order. They move to ban it. The ban doesn't hold. It rarely does. Coffee is already too woven into daily life to be legislated away. The pattern repeats in Istanbul. According to Ottoman chroniclers, the city's coffeehouses take root by the mid-16th century, spaces where merchants, scholars, and ordinary citizens gather to talk, gamble, listen to music, and trade news, which is exactly why authorities fear them. A coffeehouse isn't just a shop. It's where opinion forms, rumor spreads, and dissent finds a room to sit in. Coffee is banned again, and again it survives. By the time it leaves the Ottoman world, coffee carries two things with it: a taste and a reputation. Coffee enters Europe through Mediterranean trade routes, with Venice among its earliest gateways. The reception is mixed. Some see it as medicine. Others view it with suspicion. A strange, dark drink from the Islamic world, viewed by many Europeans as foreign in more than just flavor. But by the 1650s, coffeehouses have appeared in Oxford and London, and they spread fast. Not because coffee wins over every skeptic, but because it fits perfectly into the rhythm of European commercial and intellectual life. Within decades, the coffeehouse becomes as European an institution as it was ever Ottoman or Yemeni. Demand is rising, and supply is about to become a problem worth solving by force. As demand grows, European colonial powers stop relying on Yemen. They start growing coffee themselves in the Caribbean, in Latin America, on land seized for the purpose. This expansion is built on coerced and enslaved labor. Men and women forced to work the very fields that would turn coffee into a global commodity. This is not a footnote in coffee's history. It is one of its central chapters. The drink that began as a symbol of devotion and conversation becomes, for millions of people, a system of forced extraction. Merchants, financiers, shippers. A chain stretches across oceans, connecting plantations to ports to the coffeehouses of Europe. Enormous wealth moves along that chain. Very little of it reaches the people whose labor makes it possible. Coffee's rise as a global commodity and coffee's history of exploitation are not two separate stories. They are the same story. Any account of how coffee conquered the world has to hold both truths at once: the connection it created and the cost it demanded. From here, coffee's map keeps expanding to Java, to Brazil, to plantations across the tropics, permanently shifting production away from the original corridor between Ethiopia and Yemen. And the science hasn't stopped either. Researchers are still mapping coffee's genetic history today. Still refining, still revising, still finding the story isn't as simple as any single account ever claimed. It began as a wild plant in a forest few outsiders had seen. It became a ritual, a commodity, an empire's export, and a fixture of daily life for billions of people. Every cup carries both of those histories, the connection and the cost. Coffee's story was never simple. Still isn't. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next story.